everyone, it's Jenny from Team Super Awesome Art, and today I'd like to share with you guys this custom Funko Pop of Scarecrow. This one was done by Hutch. He sculpted this one as well as painted it. He also made a base to go with it, and he even drew an original drawing of this custom Funko Pop. I'm gonna go ahead and roll some footage of him actually working on this figure as well as coloring the drawings. So stay tuned for all that, and then at the end of the video we'll come back here and talk about everything that went into actually making this whole set. Alright, so this is so far the body for Scarecrow. He added all the fabric sculpting to this pop, and then he's going to add all the mechanical stuff on top of this. So it's been pretty much layers on top of layers of clay to make this guy look awesome. So he sculpted his regular clothes, then I guess all the pouches and belt buckles and his little chest vest type thing, and then you just finished doing the back of the cape.
Still working on it.
Still working on that part, and then once that's done, he's gonna go ahead and add all the mechanical aspects, like the little, what are they, bombs?
They're vials of toxin.
Toxic vials all over this figure's body, and then it'll be done. So far this is what he has, and I can't wait to see this finished. Alright guys, so you just saw him working on this entire set. The reason I don't have the figure in my hand is because I had done this whole end of my video where I talk about the pop, but I forgot to press record on the sound portion of the video. So I'm going to go ahead and just re-record this part, and luckily I have enough footage and pictures and videos to be able to still show you guys the pop. Now this custom Scarecrow pop was actually a commissioned request. We were requested to make the Arkham Knights Scarecrow, and it wasn't so much a request to make a Funko Pop, but it was to make Scarecrow in a Funko Pop style. So what he really wanted was the Scarecrow character just in pop dimensions. A lot of people ask us why we make our pops so elaborate. A lot of times we're just asked to make something out of the box. This is definitely one of those cases, and we are so glad that it is. The person who commissioned this, his name is Kenny, and he collects really detailed pieces of art and figures. So when he came to us, that's pretty much what he wanted. He wanted Scarecrow in pop size. So that's what we really tried to give him. Now, like I said, Hutch worked on this figure, and he did all the sculpting, all the paint work, the base, and the drawing. The first thing he did to the figure was he actually had to take it apart in order to give it a really cool pose. So what he did was he took a Tomorrowland pop and actually turned that into Scarecrow. The reason he used that figure and not the original Scarecrow pop figure was because he's going to make it his own, and he knew that from the beginning. So he did chop this thing up into, I don't know, 10, 12 pieces, and then repositioned him and started sculpting from there. He started with the head. He went ahead and sculpted the face on first, and then he went ahead and added the his cloak to this character. And the cloak has a whole bunch of detail just on the top of the head alone. If you look at the cloak, it has all these little stitches going all the way around, and then he went ahead and added some loose stitches onto that as well. For the face on this character, he went ahead and did a really leathery looking feeling skin texture to the character. So he went ahead and sculpted all the little pores into this character's skin. He also did stitching around the nose, and then he ripped up, of course, the mouth. Now, for the mouth, he added the teeth onto this character. He sculpted all of those on, and then he added the rips, and then he added holes so he can go ahead and sew in some stitching at the end. So he went ahead and baked the actual sculpt and then sewed, hand sewed the stitches onto the pop. So really incredible detail on that alone. His breathing apparatus, those were actually sculpted separately. He sculpted one and he made that perfectly round, and then he went ahead and molded that to make the second one so they look exactly the same, and they're both have the exact same perfect details. Alright, onto the body. This body is ridiculous. Like I said, he did change the pose on this figure in order to give him just some more movement and to really be able to show everything that he has on. He went ahead and sculpted all of his clothes. Anything that is a fabric, he went ahead and sculpted that. So he wears wraps around his legs and arms, and he also added whatever tears and rips this character has on his actual clothes. And then from there, he went ahead and started adding any type of metal material that this character has on him. So he wears a chest plate that wraps around his back, and then on top of that, he went ahead and added this amazing leg brace. He did it out of, I think, molding plastic, if I'm not mistaken. So he can really make sure that it stands alone. There's really just a couple points on the actual brace that actually touch the leg. Once that was all on there, he went ahead and sculpted the back of his coat. So it was really important to give him a really kind of moving, really natural feel to his coat. He didn't want it just hanging straight down, so he wanted to give it some sort of movement. He sculpted that separately using a much harder clay. He added a whole bunch of tears and rips onto his cloak to really make it look weathered. Once all of that stuff was on, he went ahead and started on all the little vials that this character has on him. There's so many. There's two versions to Scarecrow. There's one where he has giant vials. I think there are 3 big ones. And then there's this character who has a whole bunch of little, very intricate details, or little intricate vials. with this character, he tried to stay as true to the actual Arkham Knights Scarecrow as possible. So all the vials, on top of being beautifully sculpted, also all have little wires connecting them to places. So just like the original character has, he went ahead and added all these wires that start off connected to the vials and out onto the rest of his body. Again, he tried to follow those as accurately as possible. They weren't just thrown on there. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is the front arm on this character is ridiculously detailed. Just that piece alone, it's about the size of about my thumbnail, and that thing has so much detail. He added, of course, the needles that come out, and then he did add he has like little vials on his arm, and then he painted those on to look like there's actually liquid in them. A really big focal point on this character is the eyes. He wanted to give it that really bloodshot type look under the bags of his eyes, and then he gave him kind of like a hazy type look, really dead look to the eyes as well. He did that with airbrush. They look amazing. I really do think they capture this guy completely. So I think a lot of the character, or a lot of any character, is really in the eyes, and with this pop, I'm really glad we got to go all out and make a really detailed pop. On top of all of that, this character has a whole bunch of belts and really tiny little details that are just really hard to point out because there's just so much to him, but they're all there. Another thing that he did add to this figure that you probably can't even see because pop heads are so big is he added the noose around his neck. The Arkham Knights Scarecrow does wear a noose around his neck, this version that we did, and that's one of the reasons we picked this version, because of that little detail. It's a really neat and eerie detail that they added to the character, and we really wanted to capture it in this pop. So that was one of the kind of weighing factors as to which Scarecrow we'd actually go with. For the noose around the neck, I think he used hemp rope, and he Googled at how to make a noose because we didn't know how to make a noose, so he went ahead and Googled it. If you ever Google that, there is a whole bunch of sites as to don't make one. So don't make one unless it's for a pop. Don't make one. Okay, to go along with this amazing figure, he made a custom base, and he went with a kind of basement type feel with a grid, and then he did wires coming out of it. So it's really a place where you actually see Scarecrow, and that's what we were going for. So those two pieces go together. And then on top of all of that, Kenny had actually asked if his set could come with a 5x7 drawing of the pop so that he can display it behind his new figure. And Hutch went ahead and did that. The whole process to actually make one of these drawings from start to finish is actually quite long, but it's really cool to see a original piece of art like this one and have it to go with such a cool set. For those of you who don't know how original drawings are done, he draws it out in pencil first, and then he takes pens and inks them. He traces over all his pencil lines, or the ones that he wants to keep in pen, and then once all that is done, he goes ahead and colors it in Copic marker. Like I said, the process is pretty time consuming, especially with a character like this that he does have so much detail, but it's a really cool piece to have with a custom pop. Alright guys, I think that is everything for this pop. This is a beautiful piece. We are so glad that we were asked to make such an elaborate piece of art. It really is. It's just not a pop. It is really a painstaking piece of art that Hutch was able to produce, and we are so glad that Kenny came to us with this great idea and really trusted us to do this. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We are super proud of this piece. We really hope you guys love it. For those of you who have commented on this figure already, we've posted pictures on our Facebook page. Thank you so much for the feedback. Comment below if you guys have any questions on any of this. We will be more than happy to answer your questions for you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. And as always, guys, subscribe to see more cool stuff from us in the future. Thank you so much for watching.